Hey y'all, it's Davey Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist, got my Sunnyside CDs, got my Mel Bay book, Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary, guitar improv, and just improv in general book. And new book's coming soon. I swear, I say this every video, it's coming. Maybe by the time you watch this video, it'll be out. Into the Labyrinth, an anatomy of position playing for jazz guitar, and it goes through, like the title says, the real nitty-gritty process that I went through to learn the guitar neck. And I'll be making some videos about that pretty soon. But today, I want to talk to you about the Thelonious Monk tune, Off Minor. Really interesting song. It's been recorded a fair amount, especially like back in the day. I actually think the first recording was Bud Powell on the Bud Powell Trio record in the 40s. And I had some students. We do this tune in improv periodically. We kind of alternate Thelonious Monk tunes. We've done this one once or twice, but somebody transcribed the Bud Powell solo from it, which was so interesting. You know, Elmo Hope and Bud Powell and Monk are very different in many ways, but you know that they were contemporaries, and so you hear some similarities in their style and their playing, and some in their compositions, particularly, I think. And I guess I first heard this tune on the CD Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane, which had, you know, Ruby My Dear and Nutty and something else. And then it was like the other half of the CD was some sessions that had Coleman Hawkins and different. It was a different band, and I think some of those tunes are also on the album Monk's Music. And there's a version of Off Minor on there with like really high trumpet and Coleman Hawkins. It's really interesting. It's the melody is played really differently on that version. And then that early Monk album, I guess it's called Genius of Modern Music. There's a version on there that's just piano trio. I'm kind of partial to the Town Hall concert version, and the great Steve Cardenas, Don Sickler book of Thelonious Monk's tunes has a chart based on that version that I really like. And I kind of, I realize when I play this melody, I adhere to that pretty closely, but there's a few little elements I think I borrow from other versions. And for me, the challenge of this song, there's some harmonic things in the A section that are kind of interesting, but it's really kind of just being able to articulate the melody that I find kind of tricky. So maybe what I'll do is, I might have to sneak a peek here, y'all. It's been a minute, but I was playing this the other day with some students, and you know, I don't play it enough to be like 100% on the melody, but I did a pretty good job the other day, and I got confident to make this video, so we'll see what happens. But basically, the chords, you got like a G minor. Interesting, right off the bat, it's kind of like a melodic minor thing. And then D flat 7 to F sharp 7 to B minor. So a real quick modulation from G minor to B minor. It's kind of cool. Almost like a little Wagnerian thing, you know, little Star Wars, little Darth Vader. And then, so we got the G flat 7, B minor, B flat 7, E flat major, D7, G minor, B7, D7. Those are the chords of the A section. And so the melody goes. That I have that 7 string for that last part, because the low D sounds really cool. So yeah, you have that melodic minor thing, and then a little you know, dyad on a D flat 7 of the melody's the 3rd, and there's a little counter line on the 7th, and then that goes down to the chord's kind of a G flat 7. And you know, I usually sustain that F, even though the chord technically is a G flat dominant and I'm playing a major 7. I don't know, I just like, if I have an opportunity to sustain something, unless it sounds really bad, I'm probably going to take it. Because, you know, guitar, sustain on the guitar, that's kind of the big trick in a certain sense. You know, the natural state of the guitar is for something to go and disappear. So anyway. So that's the B7, B flat 7, 7, and I repeat that D. I think on the town hall they actually just sustain the D as that other note goes down. So I'll play it all together. So. And the second time. And you get a very guitaristic chord. Like if you play a B flat 7, just like B flat, A flat, D, and you leave the top 2 strings open, it's like perfect. And then this. So it's a D7 with again a little dyad thing of like B flat to B minor thirds, G to A flat. That's the first and second A. And the bridge is pretty cool too. There's some stuff that it's kind of a wild ride with the melody. So the chords go D flat major 7, D7, B flat minor, E flat 7, B minor for a whole bar, E7 for a whole bar, then E minor 7, A7, and then kind of like D7 for 2 bars, pretty much. And then back to the A section, which is the same. But against those chords, or with those chords, the melody goes, let's see if I can do this right. That's pretty crazy. And I played that last part. Let me give you another try. That's a handful right there, and there's some. So I'm trying to recreate some things from that town hall arrangement. Full disclosure, also trying to just articulate some of the things on the chart that Steve and I guess Don Sickler maybe helped with that as well. What they wrote. So I try to sustain that C as the melody note, as the D flat to F. The root and major third of D flat goes up a half step. So, and that's B flat minor to E flat 7, and then that A is kind of like a negative guide tone, a common tone to go from E flat 7 sharp 11 to B minor, and then there's this wild thing. Oops, I can't do it if I slow down. Country sounding guitar thing to me, like I should play that on a Telecaster, like down F, E, and then like an F sharp triad, F triad, E triad. And then it's like an E minor chord. It's an E minor 7 arpeggio, and then here it's an A7. And sometimes I do this because I don't know, I just like the sound of that gnarly interval there. I could easily have gone also. When I do that, for some reason I end up with I don't know, I don't want my pinky to be here, because if I go, I need my pinky. I can use it on this note, but I got to remember to put my third finger here so I can do this crazy thing, which is basically, those are the melody notes, but it makes sense to kind of get the open string, and it sounds kind of, I don't know, monkish. It's not that his music, I think sometimes there's this sort of like the marketing of him and the branding of Monk, that it's weird. And it's not weird to me, it's very melodic, it's just very specific. And I guess that's... Then you have this D7, 13, flat 9 chord. So that's the hardest part for me, is to get this bridge. right, so that's a trip. If you can play that melody without messing it up, you're in good shape. Harmonically, when I'm playing on the song, it's interesting to go from G minor, D flat 7, G flat 7, B minor. This is one of those progressions where when I play on the D flat 7 and the G flat, I try to play them real clearly and not do many alterations, because to go from G minor to D flat 7, you're already kind of, in a certain sense, you're just moving up a half step. So there's enough difference between those two sounds that if you start to alter that D flat 7, you end up getting notes that make sense over the chord that came right before it, and it kind of diminishes the effect. I feel the same way about like train changes, sometimes that like giant steps B, D7, I don't usually alter that D7. I don't put flat 9s or flat 13s or anything, because then I end up with notes that are reminiscent of the chord I just came from, and it almost diminishes the effect. So stuff like just simple D flat 7 to G flat 7, and then resolving that to B minor, it already sounds kind of wild, And same thing going from B minor to B flat 7. I mean, I guess you could, if you went to jazz school like me, you might think, okay, well, B minor to B flat 7 to E flat, I could kind of stay on B minor, because the B flat 7, up a half step from B flat 7, that's B melodic minor, super Locrian. But I don't know, I kind of try to make the B flat 7 a little more, I guess, mixolydian, or just play off of the arpeggio of it. And it goes by so fast anyway, you don't have a whole lot of time to play scale stuff unless you're double timing. But so B flat 7, D7. And there's a really cool on the town hall concert, Donald Byrd gets it. Charlie Rouse has a really cool solo at the beginning, but then they leave Donald Byrd out there for like 100 choruses. It's crazy. And I always thought it's kind of interesting when he plays the D7 on the A section, he kind of plays it real consonant, a real sort of mixolydian. He doesn't put a bunch of, it doesn't sound like the D7 from a G harmonic minor scale or anything. But I kind of tend to make it a little more part of that scale, like D7 with, when I finally get to it after all that. B flat 7, D7. So I'm kind of playing it like that, G harmonic minor scale over it, or even, some crazy altered stuff, like I might go tritone sub, play off of an A flat 7. The opposite of what I was talking about, like when the D flat 7 happens, that you want to keep it kind of constant and stay close to the arpeggio. I can put as much like funk and hair on that D7 at the end of the A section as I like. But then on the bridge, it's kind of interesting. You think that there's a million chords, but in a certain sense, you're really just going D flat, D major, and then B flat minor, E flat. It's kind of just that, and then B minor, E7 is that. So in a certain sense, you got just things going up in half steps. So that's not as wacky as it seems. Just play my usual stuff, my bop language, my Joe Pass, my Steve Mazikowski, all that good stuff. And then, E minor, A7 to D7. It's not that crazy, excuse me for a second. But and then you're back to the A section. So, like I said, my main strategy is to keep the D flat, not obscure the hipness of that modulation from G minor to B minor by messing with the D flat 7, G flat 7, because it's just the way it is. I like that progression just the way you are. So anyway, I'm going to play some choruses on this tune. Off minor, y'all. Really deserves to be played more in our era. I know there's a lot of recordings back in the day, but it's a really cool tune. So hope you enjoy it. Thanks.